One email address is worth more than 5,000 likes, and so why are you still refreshing the page as if your life depends on it? This one rule I didn't knew, and so the first 32,000 followers that I gained were basically a complete waste of time. Now, 10 million plus views across platforms later, I can assure you that collecting email addresses is the #1 thing you have to do. This is the biggest revenue stream that you can generate for yourself. And on top of that, if you don't do this, here's what's going to happen. You will work on your channel for, let's say, a year and a half, or your Facebook or your Instagram, and you will gain 10,000 followers. And then you might sell a little bit, but you might also not sell a little bit. And then you do more of that. And a year and a half later, so now you're 3 years in, you gain 25, 30, 40K subscribers to 35, whatever it is. But here's the thing. The people that were watching 3 years ago, those first 10,000, they are not watching anymore. They are not actually seeing any of your videos on their feed, and so you lost them completely. You were not able to provide value to them, and you were not able to get money from them by selling stuff. Now, this one mistake costed me at least multiple 5 figures, potentially even more. And this is not even the biggest mistake on this list. And so let's go over some of the other mistakes as well. The second mistake is the branding disaster, which can be avoided with a minute or two of work. But I didn't knew this. So all the way in the beginning, my first steps into the social media landscape, I started building this Facebook page. Now, I didn't take it too seriously because I was predominantly exhibiting my art in real life. Buenos Aires, London, Berlin, winning awards, and social media was a side thing. But after the first year, I gained like 1,000 or 2,000 followers or something. And I started to become afraid. I started to feel like an imposter. Hey, wait a minute. People will come to my Facebook page and then they will see that I only have 2,000 followers. This can't happen. I need more followers. I need to at least look like a real artist. And so the strategy I came up with, a simple strategy, is to go to other platforms and test the other platforms out. Perhaps it's easier to grow on Instagram, perhaps it's easier to grow on LinkedIn. And I went to those platforms. My Facebook page was named Dries Draws, an alliteration of some sort, beautiful name. And so I go on Instagram and I type in Dries Draws, and my page is not available. Somebody went out to secure my name on other platforms, probably in the hopes that I would buy the name from them or something like that. And so it was not available. Now I'm stressed out, like, hey, this is insane. I can't have my own name on these platforms. I didn't really have enough money to like buy my name and stuff. And I couldn't just change my name either, or have different names on different platforms. That's not professional. Then people like see that you're Dries Draws 69. That would be stupid, you know? So now I'm distressed. Now I'm feeling a little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration that I didn't secure that name somehow. And so I start searching for different names. Cobalt Ketels, Canvas Ketels, Crystal Ketels, that type of stuff. And to my surprise, nothing really resonates with me or is available on all platforms. Now I make the decision to have different names on different platforms and look like the unprofessional artist. And I give up. I give up on this whole thing. And exhausted, you know what, let's just for fun check out my own name, Dries Ketels. Who knows? So I type in my name and surprise, surprise, it was available on all platforms. I was lucky. But you might not be lucky. The reality is that even at a low subscriber count, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 subscribers, people might secure your name on other platforms to prevent you from just having it for free. And so my recommendation to people is to, all the way in the beginning, have a particular name, secure it on all platforms. Even if you don't want to use the platforms yet, perhaps 3 years from now you will use them and you already have the name available, including your website name. Speaking of mistakes, before we go into the third step, if you don't want to make any mistakes, I've developed a YouTube millionaire program where I go over all of the most important steps when it comes to building a YouTube channel for a creative business. Link in the description. It's not free, but it is cheaper than it will ever be in the future. As usual, the same with the artist formula. I will increase the price as time goes on. And so catch it while you can. Let's go to the third one. The third mistake didn't cost me 1,000 followers. It costed me 15,000 followers. When I went on Instagram, I already understood a little bit about the social media game, and I felt like social media was just cutting it short because I wasn't reaching the right people. I was reaching fellow artists. I was reaching like people that were not necessarily going to buy my work. And so on Instagram, I played it much smarter. Here's what I did. I would use a variation of the 180 strategy from Gary Vaynerchuk. I would start interacting with high-level collectors and high-level gallerists and high-level curators, and then provide value to them. In exchange, they would follow me. And now I had all of these high-level people following me. But here's the thing. The reason this felt so amazing is that back in those days, when you would go on Instagram, perhaps that's still the case, but back in those days when you would go on Instagram, you would see, if you go on a particular page of a stranger that you don't know, you would see who of the people that you are following this page. And so now that all of these high-level people were following me, what did I do? I went to the people that were following them, started interacting with them so that they would come on my page and then see that all of those high-level people are following me. And they were like, how is this possible? This guy must be a genius. He must be the next big artist of whatever. And so they started to be really interested because of the peer thing. They saw that other high-level people were interested in me, and now that generated an artificial interest. And it worked like a charm. Collectors were lining up. They were buying my work. I felt like an absolute superstar with this hack that I found in Instagram. And then I shared a particular video where I criticized some three-letter agency in the world, and literally a couple of hours later, Instagram cancelled and banned me from the platform. Allegedly. Has nothing to do with the video that I made at all. This is just a pure coincidence. So what happened is that I lost that whole page overnight. Now I could complain. I could say it's Instagram's fault. It was unfair. It was this. What I should have done, obviously, do the first mistake that I shared in this video, namely building a newsletter, because then I would have had those people. But what I should have done was I should have spent my time not in hack strategies, but spend my time doing things that, regardless of what would happen in the world, would give me returns for eternity. The truth is that this 180 strategy thing, the followers, that's not giving you returns in eternity. If I would have spent all of the time developing storytelling skills, then I would be able to use those storytelling skills for the rest of time. That would have been a much smarter choice of my time. And so you have to make sure that you train and that you spend money on and that you do things that you can stack on top of each other so that you can get compounding returns on your investment, so to speak. So that is what you should be doing. And also building the newsletter. Talking about the newsletter, if you are interested in what a newsletter should look like, just subscribe to my newsletter and steal what I do. Look at what I do and just copy paste it. It's going to work. Now, obviously, you don't copy paste the literal words. That's illegal, but you get it. Let's go to potentially the most powerful thing that you should definitely do before you start posting your art. The super signature strategy. So when I went to art fairs in London during the Friese Art Week, none of those NPC slave art fairs where you have tents and people standing in tents in the sunlight and none of that shit. No, real art fairs during famous art weeks in London. People would come over to my booths and they would recognize my work from magazine features, lightning paintings in Vice magazine. And they would come over to me and say, wow, I recognize this. Yeah, you're that guy, you're that lightning painter, you're the blah, 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 whatever they would say. This is essential. And you don't get that through magazine features. You don't get that through views. You can, but you really get that through the super signature strategy. If you look at Damien Hirst and you see his spot paintings, and I would ask you, what do you think about these spot paintings? Some of you will say it's ugly, some of you will say it's beautiful, but every single one of you will recognize it's Damien Hirst. If you go to his Instagram or his website or his Facebook, you will see these spots, and it will feel, all of these platforms will feel like Damien Hirst because of the signature style, the branding that is being done. The same with me. People recognized it because of the signature style that was available. By the way, if you're interested in my whole art fair strategy that I was using at that time, I made a free PDF, 20 plus pages long, where I give you all of my tips for free, link in the description. Now, in order to make this video complete, we should talk about getting yourself a signature art style, getting yourself that super memorable and recognizable so that you can actually use this strategy. But we are not going to do that because I already did in a video called How to Find Your Art Style So Fast It Feels Illegal. Link in the description. Don't forget the YouTube Millionaire program that is just launched at a cheap price point. That said, get the hell out of here.